evening, everyone. It is Sunday evening, the 20th of December. We're 5 days away from Christmas, and that puts us just over 2 weeks away from 2021. I'm not sure how I feel about us hitting in, seeing the back end of 2020 is probably a good thing, but it is just another year that's gone by, which is always frightening. So I'm having a look at the markets. My trading is going to be minimal over the next kind of 10 days. The markets can sometimes on occasion they can trend, but it's a really good idea, at least for me at any rate, in my experience, it's a really good idea to just unplug from the markets in terms of trading between now and the new year and come back all revitalized and energized and enthusiastic about the next year. It's just a good idea and skilled up. So having a look at the major currencies this week, starting with the dollar basket. Having a look at that. So what is significant the last week is having broken below that 90 level. If you kind of look at the monthly basis, next really big level at this point is 89. After that, it's kind of 87 and 84. I've included 89 just to be kind of thorough about that. So the weekly is starting to look a little overextended. Otherwise, I'm not that unhappy about it. We haven't had a really large distinguishing candle, which we can often get towards the end of a big move. So it's not, to me, and that monthly is also not that overextended. It's not outside the realm of possibility. 90 is a big round number, psychologically speaking. Not outside the realm of possibility that we could break through that and continue down to 89 at least, but this coming week, if not further in the kind of medium term. And of course, what I'm hoping for, what I want more than anything else is a really nice trend. It would be nice to see this, in 2021, I'd love to see more trends on the major currency pairs. And so this might actually be the case. There might be a weakening of the US dollar in at least in Q1 2021. We will see. 90 is kind of the last threshold. I think once we break past 89, then I think we're going to start to pick up pace if that is the situation. Now, it's a little bit, if we get kind of similar cycles on the daily that we do now, there is a potential for it to retrace here. However, it's kind of broken 90, and I think for me it makes more sense for this to potentially push on to 89 first before taking a breather. But I think this week I'm going to be prepared for both retracements as well as continuations. The momentum indicators are starting to flatten out a little bit, maybe even become a little bit, I would call that as, or classify that as flat. That looks like they're starting to flatten out a bit, and so that could just imply or indicate there's some potential exhaustion coming into it. In terms of price action, there's nothing here that I think would justify calling it exhausted. I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. This is looking good. So there is a real possibility of a retracement this week. At the same time, I think because it's broken through 90, I think there's a good chance that it might be motivated to push on through that. So moving on to the euro against US dollar, very nice trend overall, starting to enter, kind of move away from the moving averages, very close to 1.23, which is the next big level. Absolutely makes sense to me that this should push on and connect with 1.23. So again, any retracements, but this is ultimately what I'm looking for, is a move at least to 1.23, and then I'll deal with whatever's happening after that at this point. But so far, that's really the big thing. I've got 1.28 above that, and so this is really what I'm looking for. To see it continue with that, if that's going to be the case for intraday trading opportunities, looking at sterling here. So sterling has breached 1.35 on the weekly. It's not overextended. It's come back and tested these previous levels of resistance for support. The monthly is starting to push a little bit higher. So for me, again, this price action being a little bit of a break and a retest potentially, that this might want to push on to 1.4. Now, that's really only if sterling can find the strength, and there's quite a bit of stuff going on with Brexit at the moment in terms of possible uncertainty. But if it does follow through in the same way we get that weaker US dollar, then I would expect to see sterling continue to climb and then push on a little bit higher this week. So if that is the case, this could turn out to be a real bumper in terms of trading opportunities to the upside, if that's the case. Now, looking at Aussie dollar, beautiful, really nice trend. It's very close to the 0.7750, and a retracement is definitely due on the daily, but at the same time it's very much within reach, in my opinion. I think that this can push on. So again, the situation is the same across most of these so far, is a retracement and a continuation, or continuation and a retracement. I'll be keeping an eye on the 4-hourly for that. Overall, my expectation is that that trend should remain intact at this point in time. QB dollar as well, very nice, breaking to that level of local resistance, retesting that, a little bit of on a higher time frame, a little bit of a breakout and a retest bullish candle there, potentially indicating it wants to carry on to 0.73. That weekly is definitely now drifting away from the moving averages, but could still push through. If we, again, there's just that potential here on the monthly as well. There's just that potential for this to push on to hit these next levels. They're almost within touching, kind of reaching within reach. And so again, looking here at dollar yen, the runt of the litter. This is messy, but has continued to slide down, and there's no reason really to expect it so far, unless the Bank of Japan intervenes. There's no reason to expect this to, or not to expect this to continue to head low. If you look at that price action on that weekly, it's very nice. It's beautiful. Turning point, starting to break and head low. So that would be, again, my expectation. Possibly some pullbacks into local resistance. But for trading, it to me is at the bottom of the list of trending charts as well. Also here, looking at dollar Swissy, excuse me, that's also got some nice bit of room to head down to 0.87 on the monthly. It's very close by. Again, it's within reach. That daily has started to break a bit lower. Any kind of retracement, I guess so, but this price action is now starting to look more and more bearish, and that is potentially within reach. So there is a very valid possibility that there could be a surge this week, like a really nice big daily candle or weekly candle could happen this week. There really is no major news. That's why I didn't include the economic calendar this week. There really isn't anything. There's some potential commodity oil, crude oil news on Wednesday afternoon UK time, but that's about it. There's nothing else of significance on the calendar this week, and so I don't anticipate any massive surges, but it could be something where that trend just kind of falls into place and the market keeps pushing. Then having a look here at dollar CAD, so I was looking and waiting for an opportunity for a retracement in order to look for a lower time frame counter trend intraday trading opportunities back up to 1.2950. Not really. Oh, look, I'm willing to do that if we start to break these highs, then that's potentially the case. But again, this is so much, it's halfway towards the next key level, and therefore I think a push through could be on the cards, especially if all the others do that. So to sum up, having a look at these, a lot of these most of them are more than halfway to the next key level, not all of them, but most of them, and therefore pushing through to that next key level makes a lot of sense. The dollar index obviously having breached 90, but it has to really follow through on that. Could there be a daily retracement this week within the existing trend? Yes, there could be. I'm prepared for it. The market could surge and then kind of finish up the rest of the week having maintained that trend, or it could ultimately have a retracement early on and then try to resume that trend. In terms of the other, what else is happening, I might keep an eye on some of the crosses with Japanese yen crosses, where there's some potential bullishness on a couple of them in terms of that. Also, the Aussie crosses as well look quite interesting to me to potentially head lower. So let's have a look at, say, for example, pound yen has got a potential swing high that it's in the middle of. We'll see if it follows through on that and carries on down to 1.72. Having a look at Aussie CAD, you can see very nice and bullish up at this key level, looking really nice and bullish. We've got Aussie Swissy that's also potentially trending higher. Aussie yen, that's looking good, had a nice little swing low earlier last week. Kiwi CAD is also now looking nice and bullish. Kiwi Swissy in an uptrend on the daily, and Kiwi yen also potentially wanting to break through that level. So Aussie and Kiwi pairs again kind of offering some really good opportunities there. Potentially looking at this one, Kiwi yen, for example, is sitting right at a weekly support resistance level, and it's overextended. Any kind of, again, pullbacks down to these key levels could provide buying opportunities, but they have been, I would say, Aussie and Kiwi pairs have been quite generous with opportunities this year. And I think there was possibly CAD yen was sitting on that as well. Nope, there wasn't that strong resistance. That was it. So really, for me, there's not as many that are offering some opportunities this time. It's going to be focused almost more so on the Aussie pairs, followed by Kiwi pairs, and then we'll see what else crops up later in the week. And that's it for me, really, hoping that the dollar is going to maintain its trend. It would be really nice for the markets in general, looking back over the last few years, to just have some nice, stable, long-term trends. And that's it. I'll be looking for those. But again, trading is going to wind down from now until about the 5th or 6th of January. And so I most likely, depending on how much I have on my plates, I may do another video. But if not, if I don't do anything now until January, I want to just obviously wish you nothing but the best, obviously with Christmas and during quarantine and obviously New Year's. I think I'm probably going to push out one more video before then, but just to wish you all well and have a great week and take a bit of time off and plan for 2021. Thank you very much.